Hi West Fresno, my name is Jaycee Hines and I am very excited to be here with you today and honored. I used to work over at West Fresno Middle School a couple of years ago, and one of my duties was to help coordinate Career Day. So it feels really good to be asked to come back and be a guest speaker. So thank you for having me. A little bit about myself. I'm a first generation college graduate. And so what that means is I was the first in my family to obtain a higher education. And so that means a lot to me. And I feel like it might be a little bit relatable to you guys as well. So I hope that you know that it's totally and completely obtainable for you as well. I also am a graduate of Washington Union High School, which is somewhere that a lot of you will go after you're done with West Fresno as well. And so I like to relate a little bit with you guys that I know the walk that you guys are taking, and I've taken that walk, and so I'm glad to be here with you today and kind of give a little bit back to the community that I was raised in. So again, thank you. Well, as you might have picked up on, I work in education. I am a high school counselor at Sunnyside High School, and I started working in education shortly after I graduated with my bachelor's degree. So I got my bachelor's degree in communication from Fresno State University, and I started working at West Fresno Middle School as an intervention specialist shortly after. I worked at West Fresno Middle School for 2 years, and then I worked at Washington Union High School for 3 years before I was like, I want to be a counselor. I need to go back and go to school and become a counselor. And so some of the requirements that you need in order to become a counselor is a master's degree and a PPS credential, which is just basically a certificate that says that you are cleared to work as a counselor in grades K through 12. And so in order to get a master's, you have to have a bachelor's. So I had that, then I obtained my master's, and then I got my credential, and then I got a job with Fresno Unified School District as a counselor. And so that's a little bit about how I got to my career path. So I actually looked up the average salary for high school counselors, or just counselors in general in the state of California, and the numbers were everywhere. But I feel like it's safe to say that counselors can start working as a counselor at year one at $75,000, give or take what school district you're working in. And then each year on the job that you perform a successful year and you get hired back, you move up a step. And so each step is basically a raise. So you have the potential to make a lot more than $75,000. And that is not a bad salary with all of the perks of working in education, like summer breaks and winter breaks and spring break. So I feel like very much worth it. Promising career if you feel like you ever want to be a counselor or anything in education. I'm always going to push students to do that and to come back and serve the communities that you lived in. And so I was asked to give some advice. What advice would I give a kid who was kind of a little bit on the fence about going to college? And I think that my advice would be to reflect on what it is that you want in life. What car are you driving? Where do you live? Do you own that house? Do you travel a lot? Do you live your best life all the time? And the answer to most of those questions is, yeah, I want to travel. Yeah, I want to live my best life. Yeah, I want to have my own house and my own car. And so you obtain that with a higher paying job with good salaries. And I have found that those good salary jobs are those jobs that people get when they have an education. And so really be honest with yourself on what it is that you want in this life and make it happen. And there is no easy route in being successful. So remember that. My advice to you is to remember that there is no easy route, that school might not be what you want to do, but owning a home and driving a car in the future is something that you want to do. And this is something that you can do for 4 years. That's not going to kill you. That'll only better yourself. I also have some advice on the price tag. So college comes with a price tag and it can be scary. And I'm going to advise you to forget that price tag. It is an investment in yourself. And if you qualify for financial aid, then you have some assistance. If you have to get a loan, then you'll pay it back. Or if you have to work through college, that's what you're going to do. But do not let the price tag of education scare you or deter you onto a different path because you think that it's too expensive. I feel like money should not be the objective when trying to pursue an education. Like I said, it's an investment in yourself. And I also will advise you that it's gonna be scary and it's gonna look a little different and you might fail along the way, but those failures is how you're going to grow and become a better person. So I heard, I think it was Miss Rich over at the high school give an AVID speech to her graduating seniors, and she had said, "I hope you fail." And I was like, oh, that's harsh, but I felt every word of it. And it wasn't, "I hope you fail" in a bad way. It was, "I hope you fail because that is the best way you're going to learn." So my advice to you would be, when you fail, do not beat yourself up, because you're going to come across those bridges that are a little weak and you are going to question yourself a little bit along the way. But always know that you're 100% capable of achieving what you want to achieve. So also be mindful of the failures. They're scary when we're approaching them and when we're living through them. But when we look back, you're like, wow, I'm so much stronger because of that. So my advice to you would be just to know that it's coming. Anyway, so then I was asked, what inspired you to get into your chosen career path? So I've had a lot of educators in the past pour a lot of love and effort into me. And when I look back at it, I'm so appreciative. And I just felt like that job is so honorable. It's meaningful. It's impactful. I want to get a position where I can not only advise students on their academics, how to get to college, how to get those higher paying jobs. I also want to make sure that they're socially and emotionally taken care of. And I feel like the high school counselor has that platform of advising students academically and supporting them socio-emotionally. And that's how I ended up in the field that I am, because I saw the love that was poured into me and the impact that it had on me. And I'm like, I want to do that for others. And so that's how I ended up in my position as a counselor. And I wouldn't change it any other way. I know sometimes they think, oh, what do you want to do in 5 years? And if the answer isn't working with students on a day-to-day basis, I don't know if I can take it. I need to know that I am working with students and impacting them and changing trajectories. And that's what matters to me the most. So I need something that I feel like it gives me purpose. And I absolutely love serving in Fresno because I feel like that's the community that I'm from. And I just want to make sure that every kid that comes in through our school is supported and knows what they're capable of. That is my job. I've had some huge major influences in my life. I had my high school AVID teacher I feel like I hold her to such a high standard. She was my AVID teacher for 4 years and my basketball coach, and then was my mentor till this very day. And it was her influence and her drive to be the best that she can be that led me to believe that I was completely and totally capable of the same things. She now has her doctorate degree, which is something that I'm also pursuing. And so I feel like she has influenced me and just making sure that I know that I am capable of everything great and in life that I want. And so she has been, her name's Dr. Sharp. I put some respect on the doctor part. And she has been a major influence in my life and also a fantastic educator. And I just hope that I can impact lives the ways that she's impacted mine. You are going to learn that life can throw you some curveballs and you're going to need a support system. And I have support systems in every facet that I can think about. I have my family, I have my friends, I have my coworkers who are more like friends and friends who are more like family. But I know that I can hit up any one of these group chats I have and be supported supported and just need that additional comfort or that push to remind me who I am sometimes when I'm getting a little bit down or I doubt myself. So you need that support system. It's absolutely pivotal to get through college and to get through life in general. So when asked about supports, I'm going to say that you need to be intentional about the relationships that you have, because you're going to need them more than you can imagine it as of right now. My motivation has always been to just be better, do better, give back. So whenever I see a student excel in something minor or something major, and I've had any type of influence in that, I am motivated, instantly motivated. I am motivated by my students' success the most. I'm motivated by my coworkers' success. I'm motivated by my friends' success. Everything to me is just, when I see great things happening, that's just motivation to continue to push through. I'm also motivated by the fact that statistically, I don't stand where I stand right now. I'm the daughter of a single parent, a single teenage parent growing up, and happened to be African-American, biracial, African-American and Hispanic. And when you put all those things in a list, you don't think that that person is making $80,000 and traveling the world and soon to embark in a doctoral degree. That is not what statistically is said about me. So I am motivated by breaking down those glass ceilings. I'm motivated by just turning it all around and saying, this is who I am, this is who, and then this is how I made it, and your statistics about me were wrong. And I am motivated about that. I think that the most important skill that anyone can have in any given career is the ability to communicate. Open and effective communication is key to just about anything. So I feel like a skill that I have is my communication. I am not afraid to ask questions, which is also a skill. It can be scary asking a question that you might think is dumb, but it's a skill, and you need to learn how to ask the questions so you can do your job effectively. It is also a skill to be organized. I used to hate binder checks. I was an avid. I hated them. I wanted to swear off the binder for the rest of my life. And I tried every single different way of organizing myself in college, and I went back to the binder. And I don't necessarily, well, actually, I lied, because I still have a binder for my work now, and it's organized by the months here on this tab of data. And I thought that I was like done with it when I graduated high school, but I wasn't. So being organized is a skill, and it's a skill that many employers are proud to have on any of their teams. I feel like what subjects in school that helped me get to where I'm at was just the ability to write. So I feel like I learned how to write in my AP World History class with Mr. Sharon, who's now the principal at Washington Union High School. I will say that until then, I was just writing fluff. But then I learned and realized how to write an essay with a good argument and good points to back my argument, and then wrap it up beautifully in the conclusion. So the ability to write is crucial. How to do a good email, how to write a good paper, how to write a proposal, how to write for a grant. So you can be taking your English classes a little bit more seriously. And if you feel like it's boring or it's dull or it's not challenging you enough, then I challenge you to talk to your high school counselor about AP classes or honor classes, because once you get into college, you're going to be on a playing field with a lot of people who might be a little bit more prepared than you or underprepared, all kinds of different writing skills. You want to be able to go in and at least write a decent essay. So I would say that my English classes or even my history classes in the K-12 grade levels helped me. Aside from obviously my master's program, I took all my counseling courses. I learned a lot there, but learning by doing, I feel like, is the best way how to learn these days. And so when I was doing my internship, or even when I was an intervention specialist, any interaction with students and with parents was me learning by doing. And that's something that is taught outside of the classroom. And it's also pivotal. So be a little bit social. Put yourself in situations where you might not talk to everybody in the room, but in order to get through it, you're going to have to go talk to somebody. And that's going to help you you communicate and be social. And trust me, you're gonna need that when you're networking. Networking in your future profession is only gonna open doors for you, which leads me to how important are relationships in your industry. And relationships are everything. I had mentioned Dr. Sharp earlier, and she's been my mentor since I graduated high school. She has prepared me for every single interview that I've ever had. Asking the tough questions, making sure I know how to answer them. That relationship made me confident when I went into any interviews. And then my high school counselor happened to be working in the department that I work in now. She was able to tell me what to expect from my interview, what to expect from so many of the interviewees. That information helps me get the position that I have now. So relationships are everything. Networking is everything. I don't have the time to meet every single person that works in Fresno Unified, but I do have the time to meet with people who can have a positive experience with me, and I build that relationship with them, and then word of mouth of how I am at my job travels, and it travels fast. And so when people speak of my character, I want it to be based off of the relationship that I have, the good relationships that I have with people. That way, my platform is a little bit larger than it is if I were just to be isolated in my silo, not building any relationships with anybody. So keep in good contact and relationships with your people, and with people that you feel are going places and you genuinely like them. Be that person's friend and be intentional with it, and not in like a I'm gonna use you type of way. Just have good relationships with people. It pays off, and it's fun. And then I leave you with this. Like, if you learn nothing about being a high school counselor, or what classes to take, or how good relationships are for you, or you didn't really like my advice and it didn't make sense, just want to leave you with one thing, and it's that you literally have every single tool that you need in your head, on your person, to be successful. All of you. Whether or not you see them yourself or someone helps you bring them to light, you got it, and you can do it. And it might get rough, but you're going to lean in on your support systems and you're going to get through it. Never, ever did anyone get anywhere by saying I can't or quitting. Take that out of your vocabulary. You got it. You can do it. If I can do it, you certainly can. And if you ever feel like you need a pep talk or motivation, feel free to contact Miss Avila, and she'll put you in contact with me, and I'll give you that same speech, and I'll be your mentor, because all I want is to see you succeed. And that is it. Thank you for having me, West Fresno. I hope you all return to school in August. Same with me. I'm tired of being in isolation. Until next time, bye.